I think we need to balance the budget on the backs of teachers.
You do? I can't think of anything more important than educating children. Don't you think education should be the last resort rather than the starting point for balancing the budget?
No. Teachers are a good place to start because they are drastically overpaid for people who get to have fun hanging out with kids all day.
That is an interesting delusion. May I ask what you do for a living?
I am a locomotive engineer.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average locomotive engineer makes $53,600 a year. The average teacher makes $53,150, which the math we learned in school tells us is $450 less than you.
I deserve to be paid more than a teacher because my position carries the burden of responsibility. A train not properly attended to can easily become dangerous.
So, you think that a generation of improperly cared for minds poses no hazards for the future of our society?
Well, it isn't like that's a train wreck waiting to happen.
Actually, it would be a lot like that. But speaking of trains, the rail system is heavily subsidized. Maybe you would be willing to give back some of that subsidy through a diminished paycheck in order to help balance the budget.
Fat chance. My family needs that money. I have to think of the welfare of my children first.
Uh-huh. You do understand irony, right?
Listen, teachers do not deserve that much money because they have over 2 months off for summer.
Actually, the average teacher works about 37 days less per year than the average worker in the United States, and this gap is decreasing annually. And, while it is true that, when you average out the pay on a per-day basis, a teacher will make nearly 25% more than the average worker, it is also true that the average worker does not have a bachelor's degree, which is required for a teacher. On the other hand, teachers make an average of $4,000 less per year than workers in other professions requiring bachelor degrees. But let's talk about you. Why do you get paid more than a teacher to drive a train? You don't even have to steer a train. It is stuck on the damn tracks.
There is far more to driving a train than meets the eye. You betray your ignorance of the rail system when you say stupid stuff like that.
I suppose I do. And you betray your ignorance of the education system when you say stupid stuff like teachers essentially have fun hanging out with kids all day. Do you have any children?
Yes. I have 11-year-old twin girls. We just threw a birthday party for them. 9 of their girlfriends came over.
That must have been quite a time.
It was 3 hours long. We were exhausted. If we did not have a magician to give us a break, I might have slit my throat.
And what did you teach the children?
What? We didn't teach them anything. We reminded them not to scream when they got excited and we fed them cake.
Why didn't you try to teach them something?
Are you nuts? It was a party. It was supposed to be fun, not work.
Okay, listen. You had just 11 girls for 3 hours. You did not try to teach them anything and you still enlisted the aid of a magician to keep things under control. Now imagine what your daughter's teacher goes through. A classroom is no party. The typical elementary school classroom has twice as many kids in it as your birthday party did. It is twice as long, and it has both girls and boys. I am letting that fact sink in for a moment. A birthday generally comes only once a year, whereas school days happen at least 180 times. The school teacher has no magician to help out. The school teacher has to be her own magician, with far more tricks up her sleeve. You and your children got to pick exactly who you wanted to attend the party, but teachers have to take everyone, and every child has to come whether they want to or not. And teachers have to teach. Did you make the girls sit at desks during the party and speak one at a time?
No, of course not.
Well, do you know what? Teachers have to keep children seated and listening for much of the entire day, even though evolution has designed the child to be an active creature that wants to learn by doing things in a spontaneous and engaging manner. Now, at the birthday party, were any of the children bored with the magician?
No, magic is very entertaining.
And did anyone not like the cake?
Only obstinate children do not like cake.
Well, schoolwork is not always a piece of cake, and every subject is not universally entertaining. For you, It is easy to keep your train moving along together because the cars are all hitched together and are on the same track. But students progress at different speeds, and some get derailed altogether.
The teacher should enlist the assistance of the parents to keep the students having difficulties up to speed and motivated.
You are not the first person to have that particular insight. In fact, many teachers do attempt just that. When the day is over and you have left the train station behind, many teachers take home papers to grade. And they bring home the phone numbers of parents. They will call these parents even though they know the parents would rather get a call from a telemarketer selling earwax than a call from them. But they call for the sake of the student. And that would be the perfect solution if our nation were populated by families of Bradys and Huxtables and Nelsons. But there are as many Ozzy Osbournes out there as there are Ozzy Nelsons, and the teacher must deal with home issues that spill over into the class, such as neglect and abuse and poverty and parents breaking up.
Surely you are referring to hard cases. The average student that comes from the average family is another matter.
Average? Give me a freaking break. I spit on your average family. The average family does not even choose to eat dinner together anymore. The average family rarely even sits together to watch the same television program anymore. In some cities, the average family no longer has two parents. The consequences of the breakdown of the family structure and the overscheduling of children's lives and the constantly accessible trivial distractions of the digital age have all conspired to leave the average student with the social skills of a ball of yarn. The teacher has to deal with all of this.
You were making it sound hard on purpose.
Shut up. I am not done yet. Soon your daughters will be entering puberty. Yes, I see that prospect fills you with unrivaled horror. Well, imagine how that plays out in a mixed-gender classroom twice the size of your birthday party. In middle school there will be girls desperately pretending to have larger breasts than they have. There will also be girls trying desperately to hide the breasts they have just developed. There will be guys staring desperately at breasts all day long. There will be teachers trying to work who know that most of their male students are staring at their breasts all day long. There will be girls psychologically and hygienically unprepared for periods. There will be blood on the seats.
Wow. Now I remember how those were not years of undiluted joy.
There will be kids so confused and distraught by any number of things that the compassionate teachers will want nothing more than to hug them. But they will not dare offer this simple consolation, for fear that such a gesture may be misinterpreted by the student or by some observer. Some male teachers will not even lean over a seated girl in order to help her with her work, even if she has a chest as flat as a whiteboard and is wearing a turtleneck and a sweater, for fear of being accused of trying to look down her shirt. And there will be pregnancies.
What?
There will be pregnancies.
You say pregnancy's funny. But I thought you were talking about middle school, not high school.
You poor, ignorant fool. Yes, I am still talking about middle school. You have forgotten the details of the school you once attended, and are unaware of the challenges of schools today. Did you know that a recent CNN poll recently listed teaching as one of the jobs with the highest stress-to-pay ratio?
Good God. Stop pretending that teachers have it hard. People teach because they want to. You hear teachers all the time saying that they wouldn't want to have any other job. They have a job they love and they get summers off.
Okay, if they have it so easy, will you become a teacher then? You would make just a few $100s less each year, but you would have, as you are fond of pointing out, part of the summer off.
No.
Well, what about if you didn't even have to teach at all? Let's say that all you had to do was throw a 6-hour party just like the one you did for your kids, but with 23 boys and girls in it, 5 days a week, and without your wife or a magician there to help you. We'll even let you keep your current income.
No. But I still say that teachers' salaries are too high.
Well, you win then. I am done trying to win you over. You are as hard and immovable as the rails you ride upon. Go ahead and lobby to cut teacher salaries. Gut education in general if you want to. Treat it like a neglected stepchild. You will end up with a system churning out people like yourself.
What, Do you mean hard-working locomotive engineers?
No, you stupid ass hat. I mean people who just won't learn.